Hi, welcome to this week's brief book review. The book we're looking at this week is called The Boys from Biloxi by author John Grisham. John Grisham probably doesn't need too much introduction. Very popular, very prolific author and generally recognised as the king of the legal thriller. I reviewed two other Grisham books on the channel last year that were released before this book, Sparring Partners and The Judge's List, both up to standard by Grisham, both good reads. This one's slightly different. It was released at the end of October 2022 here in the UK, and whilst the other two that I mentioned were very good stories, this is much more of a saga, much more of a journey. Its form factor alone, it's a thick old book. There's 454 pages, so you're not going to read it in an afternoon. But nevertheless, as I said, it's a saga. It's a tale of two families over time, and how two of the boys from those families diverge. So, what's it all about? You say, well, it's called The Boys from Biloxi, and it's based on two families from Biloxi. It starts with an introduction of Biloxi and what it is. It's a very popular tourist place. It's famous for its seafood. There's also got a slightly underbelly of a darker side with clubs and bars having gambling, drugs, prostitution, bootleg liquor, you name it. So always dealt with a slightly light touch by the local police that figured that, unless there was too much problem, it was bringing money in, so hey, no worries. So we start with, the book starts with the tale of two boys from an Eastern European community that have moved to Biloxi to work in the seafood industry. They go to school together and are both pretty good baseball players, so they play little league baseball together. They're called Keith Rudy and Hugh Malco. Keith and Hugh are great friends at school, but as the years go by, their families take different routes, and surprisingly different routes. Hugh Malco's father, Lance, is involved in the darker side of Biloxi. He owns some clubs and some bars and makes a lot of money from illegal activities such as gambling, prostitution, etc. Keith Rudy's father, Jesse, takes another route. He learns to be a lawyer, trains in evening studies to become a lawyer, and quickly establishes himself as a really good lawyer, the guy that stands up for the little folk against the big corporations, and then furthers his career and goes on to take on the what he sees as the problem with vice and illegal activity in Biloxi. So the two boys' fathers have taken a completely divergent route, and two boys eventually, as the years go by, don't see as much of each other, and both enter almost into their father's businesses. Hugh Malco starts working for his father, works in the clubs and the bars. Keith takes after his father, trains to be a lawyer. So the tale evolves. And we have a tale of some colourful characters from both sides of the fence. We have tales of rigged elections, dodgy politicians, dodgy cops. It's the usual colourful mix from Grisham, and as usual, very well written. With the two boys taking alternate paths, it becomes almost inevitable that their paths one day will meet in the courtroom, and that's how the book builds. The book builds to a conclusion where Keith and Hugh are in a courtroom, and it's a serious matter. So, really enjoyed this book. I give it 8 out of 10. It's Grisham. It's always going to be fairly good. You rarely get a bad book from Grisham, but I like this one. So it's more of a saga, traces the two boys' families and the route they've taken over the years. Very interesting, very well written. I'd give it 8 out of 10 and recommend it. So that's it for today's brief book review. Another great book from John Grisham. Look forward to the next one. 10/10 till we do it again. Thanks for watching. Bye.